This is the story of the American dream, told by a man who's lived it, those who fear for it, and 3 women on a journey to rediscover it. Previously on I Am Forever.
I remember when my journey started. The Nazis had surrounded us. It was difficult, but yet we persevered, but not without the help of America.
So the hike is going to be pretty strenuous. We're going to be looking at some high miles days with a lot of elevation gain. And for somebody that's not used to carrying a backpack on their back with, 35, 40 pounds, it's going to be pretty challenging in and of itself.
My journey started 76 years ago in war-torn Greece invaded by the Nazis. The apartments that we lived in were blown up. We would have been killed if we had stayed there. My dear mother marched over the hills, pregnant with twins and 2 young toddlers in tow. It was a forced march, one that thousands of people participated in. A lot of them, I'm sure, did not make it. But we made it to the sea, where we had to wait for my uncle's boat to take us to this village called Elika. And we arrived there days before the Nazis marched in. Fearsome, scary, frightening to a young child like me. We lived in a hovel, dirt floor, 1 room, no windows. For the next 4 years, we would live in this hovel. I remember trapping sparrows. Sometimes it would take all day to trap 1 sparrow. I would bring it home to my mother, excited, because my mother and I and our siblings would have something to eat, and she would start a fire and barbecue the sparrow and then break it apart with her fingers and give us all a bite. And we would all take the bones as we were instructed, and we'd put them on a small rock, and with another rock, break them and eat the marrow inside the bones, and we would chew the bones. When we were through, my mother would take the bones that we had discarded, and I remember seeing her chewing on those bones. Such is a mother's sacrifice in time of dire need. When the Allies dropped Spam, I remember running out and picking up my own can of Spam, running home, and a starving family had meat to eat. I made a toy out of that Spam can, and that was the only toy that I had growing up. And I did sail it in every mud puddle I could find. I had an ace to play. My mother was an American citizen, moving to Greece when she was 3 years old from America, which by good luck afforded me the right to call myself an American. My mother and father decided to come to America since we were eligible. Even though I was 9 years old, I knew there was a better life. It was told to me by so many people to be found in America.
There are people in this country who think it's a big accomplishment to sit and play a video game for 25 hours straight until you finish it, and then post the experience on YouTube for everybody to see. That may be one of the most seductive and dangerous things about the ease that technology brings us, is that it also brings us really close to a feeling of real satisfaction, but it's just not the real thing. We can feel like we're doing something, but all we're actually doing is wasting time.
There's always been distractions. Yes, there's 9 million channels, there were none. Yes, there's the internet, there was none. But you can use these things to edify yourself, to figure out what's going on around you. Unfortunately, because of how these people are trained, more and more of them use the internet for lesser things rather than greater things. And that's a sad commentary on where we are as a society. Our political priorities, our life priorities are not focused in the right direction. We're doing the wrong things.
Okay, so fundamental stuff. We're gonna start from ground zero. The first thing that we have to talk about is stance. I'm gonna stand here with just kind of like my feet shoulder width apart. I want you to try to push me over. Now push me.
Like, really?
Yeah, see how I've got to take a step back. Now, I'm gonna do this, bend my knees, and now try to push me over. Way more stable, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want you to do when we get into our stance. So maps and compasses out, ladies. So I'm gonna show you where we're at right now. We are at Tree Phones Campground at the start of the Gray Rock Trail. So I'm gonna tell you, ladies, where we are going, and I want you to write it down, and then you're gonna plot it. So 431, 530. 431, 530. I want you to find that on your map. I want you to plot that coordinate. I want you to orient your map to magnetic north. So does everybody have an understanding of where they're at?
Yes.
Faith, do you know where we're going?
We're going up and over and down.
So now that you know where you're going and you know the trail that we're gonna follow, you can go ahead and put your map and compass away, but keep it on you so that as we stop, you can always know where you're at all times.
My biggest worry being out here is my feet. I'm worried that my feet won't hold up. I'm excited for the hiking. I wish my pack might not be so heavy, but the land navigation, I'm not sure if I can do it, so that'll definitely be a challenge, but I'm willing to learn. I know we have some great teachers here.
I've only been on one other hike similar to this with this amount of packing gear and everything, and it did not go so well. And I found myself really doubting my abilities and questioning a lot of things. I'm honestly nervous that I won't be able to keep up with everybody. I don't think I have stayed on top of my workout game, so that's my biggest concern.
I've got a lot of backpacking and hunting experience, but there's a lot that I'm learning for the first time out here as well. We're gonna be doing some nighttime orienteering and navigation with a map and compass. My experience with that thus far is primarily off of GPS. We're gonna be doing some rappelling. The rappelling is all brand new to me. So I'm coming in from a perspective where I'm new on a lot of things to these ladies, and I'm really excited to share the strengths that I feel like I can bring to the table for them as well as far as my experience hiking and hunting in the backcountry.
So we got our stance down. We want to keep our posture nice and straight, head up, because we're going to bring the gun up to our head. You see a lot of people roll their shoulders forward like this. It's a lot more difficult for me to manage the recoil because the recoil is going to come right back into my shoulders. I used to shoot like that, and then I got some training from a guy that was just like, whoa, 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 time out. You look so tense and so tight. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I do kind of feel tense and tight. And he said, now watch this. All right, so stand up, head up, bring the gun to your head, slight bend in the elbows, keep your shoulders flat down. Now I can see, and I'm much more relaxed. I'm gonna be more smooth. Okay. So that's the way I want you to stand with your pistol.
The lack of personal responsibility, the lack of responsibility for your actions is, again, being warped out of you by government schools. It's then warped out of you if you go to college or university. It's warped out of you by the media. It's warped out of you by government officials who hand out food stamps and welfare checks and housing for free. And all of that is a shirking of your personal responsibility to feed yourself, to clothe yourself, to have this attempt to ingrain into people that they can't achieve, that they can't succeed, that they can't self-sustain. We're training people to think that you cannot achieve anymore, that the deck is stacked against you. And so these lies are poison that have seeped into the system. And the question is the system so poisoned by government that there's no antidote big enough to counter the government?
There are no water faucets in the wild. If this sounds self-evident, consider that many of your fellow Americans live lives so removed from the sources of their sustenance that they take the basic fundamentals of 21st century life completely for granted. The power will always work, water will always flow, and pizza will always be delivered. The confluence of natural resources, human creativity, energy, capital, and hard labor required to put avocados on the shelf during a Boston blizzard is not just ignored, it's downright forgotten. But in the wild, even the most basic of human necessities, water, demands constant work, planning, and energy.
Hydration is very important, like you guys learned today. It's 85, 90 degrees out here. It doesn't feel like you can drink enough, and so you always got to keep rehydrated. This is like optimal, perfect pumping location. Fast-flowing water that comes from a high point. You know it's going to be crystal clear, not a lot of stuff coming into here. So we'll go over a couple different options. You know, kind of like a last resort is an iodine tablet. And you put it into 32 ounces of water, shake it up, let it sit for 5 minutes, and you can drink it. The only bad thing with iodine, it's got a flavor. So now you have another tablet you put behind the iodine to get rid of that flavor. Another very good option, you can see this thing's been boiled many, many times. So it's a stainless steel type Nalgene bottle. So literally just let it boil. On average, you want to boil, you know, a minute, and it kills everything, and you got your water. You know, the most used option is definitely a purification pump of some sort. Literally, there's 3 different types of filter system in here, and so it works very, very well for what we're using. And you can see there's a pre-filter, just a little tiny mesh that's like mainly for bugs is what that's for. But it's just a pre-filter before it goes into the big filter. There's a filter in here that actually is wrapped with another microfilter, so it has to go through that microfilter into the big filter. You know, my main process is put it between your feet, so you got a good stability spot so you're not spilling your water. Just put your supply in your water, and just that easy.
Coming up on I Am Forever.
So reach up, grab those, and pull them to where it's comfortable for you. 8 miles in 9 hours, heavy packs. That's a really good first day.
My only fresh fruit for the rest of the week.
I'm losing all my stuff already.
Ready.
So now we're gonna play a dirty little trick on you. It's called the ball and dummy drill. And what this drill is gonna do is it's gonna work on your trigger control. So I'm gonna hand you a gun, and you're not gonna know whether it's loaded or not. 1 round at that middle left dot. Better, much better. Right as you were pressing the trigger, did your brain go,
Yeah.
That's what we gotta get rid of, all right? That's why this drill is super important.
So pretty.
So reach up, grab those, and pull them to where it's comfortable for you.
Okay, it feels good.
You guys are doing awesome, though. Making good time.
Oh, yeah. You guys are hiking at a really good pace.
No! That was a life-ruining move. My only fresh fruit for the rest of the week.
I'm losing all my stuff already.
Ready. So we just got the camp, first day destination. You guys did amazing. 8 miles in 9 hours, heavy packs. That's a really good first day, amazing first day. You know, we had a few issues, a little bit with the feet.
She might have something in her boot that's pushing on the sock.
So, you know, not everybody does this. This is a very limited few. So you guys should feel proud, you know, that first day. We got 3 more to go, so we'll push on. Tomorrow morning, be another adventure.
Did you guys think a month ago you'd be sitting in the woods?
Not even a week ago.
Eating dinner out of a bag?
No way.
Not even a week ago. So the only issues you had today were just pack fit general, kind of getting used to it. And then you started getting some hot spots on your feet.
Yeah.
But your feet are feeling better now. They're taped
They're
up.
okay. I'm concerned about the one on my heel, but we'll see how that shapes up tomorrow, I guess.
So we'll tape your heel, and you'll be good. Out here, the simplest things are work. I mean, we gotta go pump you ladies some water later on tonight, and it's coming out of the creek.
That's work.
It's work. When you're tired right now, there's no just running to the kitchen, turning on the faucet. One of the things I noticed tonight when we looked across the valley, and you kind of instantly knew that tomorrow we would be climbing this dry mountain in front of us. You're like, oh no. And we just talked about the saying that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Yeah.
The only thing that stops you is you and your willingness to make that first step. And that's something I think, being out here teaches us all, and it's a great lesson for kids.
Absolutely.
You're gonna be able to share all of this with your family, and you're like, man, I can do anything, I'm unstoppable. And that's the great thing about America. We can do anything we want. The only one that stops us is us, right?
It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful country. It just gotta live it. We gotta experience it. And I definitely want my children to grow up in that aspect of just seeing it all, conquer every mountain. I'm lucky I have kids that really do enjoy being outside. So if I could teach them some of these skills to do this as a family, that would be the best. You gotta look up.